They can hear you right now. Hello, and welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDOstream and youtube.com/Dungeons and Dragons/live. I'm DDO's community manager, Cordovan. Thank you very much for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. Fine spring day outside of the studio in Boston area. Nice to see a whole bunch of folks in chat as well, and also nice to have Severlin, the executive producer of DDO, join us for just a couple of minutes of his lunch. I really appreciate you joining me, Sev.
How are you?
Good, good. A reason I've got you on for just a couple minutes here is we're going to be announcing some downtime tomorrow. That'll be from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. tentatively. We do have QA doing a few last second checks on it. But assuming that all works out in the next hour or so, we'll be announcing our downtime and putting some things in place tomorrow to improve the situation with lag in the game. So what can we expect on a technical side happening tomorrow on the servers?
So lag is an ongoing thing we've been working on. We will continue to work on even after tomorrow, but some fixes tomorrow should help improve things. The first thing we have is we have some back-end technical fixes that will replace some Microsoft functionality that was deprecated in because we've moved to a new operating system with the new servers and replace it with something more modern so that the way the virtual machine that our games use work with the CPUs will be modernized. We think that this might be contributing to the lag as the games right now can't switch CPUs in a virtualized environment. The
Yeah.
other thing is there's some barbarian fixes that will go in that are causing some effect stacking, and that will be all cleaned up tomorrow as well.
Okay. That sounds great. And then the other thing we're doing is we're doing a game code fix for what's called a stacking enhancement bug, at least sort of internally. We found several things with the Barbarian where they're basically communicating behind the scenes in a way that is detrimental to the environment. Is that a good way to describe it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
We're also working behind the scenes to shore up some of our networking lines, and the hang up on that is as we negotiate with the vendors, there's a lot of legalese that happens between the two companies, and that's just a process that we can't turn around quickly because those contracts have to be rock solid.
And this is one of the things you've frankly been quite busy on for several weeks now, dealing with lag, sitting in meetings with our IT folks and executive folks and all that as well. So keeping you pretty busy. But I also noticed you have had a little bit of time to put together some fighter Kensei changes as well.
Yep, I've been talking about the Kensei changes that we're doing. I think that the public has seen them and had a chance to talk about them. The concern is that they may not be enough, and after we've done some DPS testing with a lot of it implemented, I think the only thing left is the actual opportunity attack. It looks like the DPS is coming in a little lower than we had hoped, so we'll probably be shoring up the fifth core because it's pretty weak, and that will reward players who go deep into fighter, and then probably adding a little bit to the fifth tier enhancements so that they compete better with things like Dance of Death is something that the players specifically have been talking about as something to compare it to.
Great. And you can find out about that over on the DDO forums right now. I would say additionally we have started sending some of our loot list proposals to the Players Council, so hopefully that'll be on its way to the public here, at some time in the relatively near future. And then we have Lamania for Update 31 coming together again, not immediately, but coming down the road here fairly soon. And so tomorrow's patch should hopefully make some improvements. Now, we don't want to say, okay, as of tomorrow, all lag will be fixed in DDO. So would you care to, I guess at this point, is it making a little bit of a bet as to what kind of impact it's going to have? I mean, we know it's going to not hurt things and it's going to improve things, but what's our expectations
Uh,
following tomorrow's patch?
if you raid with barbarians, it should make a big difference.
Yep.
The reason we're doing this is something that in other properties we saw a big change when we moved them up into these later operating systems with this. So I'm reasonably confident that this will make a difference. Whether it beats out the lag, I don't think so, because until we shore up the networking, anyone that's going through the alternate networking CenturyLink, I believe, will see bits of lag just because of the network latency.
Yep.
But but the thing is, this will clear up a lot of stuff so that our evaluations are much cleaner,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, that sounds good. And this is something that we will be continuing to work on beyond tomorrow's patch. But we do hope that tomorrow's patch will have some improvement here as well. So, and we'll have more information about Update 31 as we get a little bit closer to that. Thanks, Sev,
Sure. Have a
for
good day.
joining me. Yep. Have a good lunch.
Bye.
All right, we are on Caneth this week. I have a level 8 druid, or actually, I guess I just leveled up to 9, and I got to figure out what I actually want to run here. Um, I know it's I know it's a little bit old, but I haven't run the Vons yet, and you can't go wrong with Vons. So, yeah. Let me answer. Sorry, we only had a few minutes of Sev's time here. Otherwise, I could have done a little bit more, perhaps, with you guys in terms of questions and answering. But I do want to thank Sev for joining us here. So why is there a difference on lag between Argo and Wayfinder? For example, someone is saying Wayfinder is pretty much unplayable while Argo is, you know, in whatever state it's in. Some changes have... We rolled back one of the changes that was made on several of the worlds, and after tomorrow we're going to be doing that rollback on all of the worlds. We don't entirely... I mean, I personally could not quantify exactly how much of a difference it's going to make, but I do suspect that that may be part of the reason why one server may be in a somewhat different state than another. But hopefully after tomorrow's game update, we'll have a lot more ability to sort of see, okay, where are we now? What's it look like? What do we have left to do? That kind of thing. Halflings had fun running with me yesterday, Oscar581. I had a blast. I was on Sarlona last night, running with the Halfling Commandos and a couple other guilds. I think I saw, Stormbringers in there and a couple of folks. And, yeah, just had a really good time. We ran Mark of Death, did not succeed. And again, we may have actually experienced a little bit of lag-related issues related to that. But we also had a really good time. And I think we learned a lot. So it was a good time. It really was. And I understand there was some blogging, screenshotting, and such going on, so I would expect maybe something from DDO Gamer, perhaps, or Confessions of a Geek Mon. I know there was some cool blogging going on. It was a really fun time. The Halfling Commandos had not run Mark of Death largely, and I had a couple of times on that character. I had a couple of completions under my belt, but I'm not really a raid leader. And also, we didn't really want to spoil it. It's like, hey, I could tell you step by step this is everything you need to do, but then again, you're running the raid for the first time. Just sit back and enjoy it. Figure it out, And figure it out we did. We figured out that we can get the first dimension door just fine. and we can stay alive generally pretty good. We had some trouble with Inferno, of course, but we also were able to largely keep alive usually through about the second Inferno. So we didn't even get to the part where Lady Vol shows up. And that was on a fairly short group. I think there was, what, 8 of us there? And it was a good time. It was really cool. I think now that, we learned a lot as a group and as a team, what our characters can and can't do. And it was good stuff. Do we have any big intimidators out there?
This is a noon spoon, so I can't intim.
Let's pay the iron price or whatever it is. Ah, incapped. Wow. Ouch. Patch notes, please. There are no patch notes. What I told you are the patch notes. Barbarian thing. Maybe I should put up a set of patch notes and just say news and notes. Barbarian thing. Nonetheless, that's the patch notes. We fixed the stacking enhancement. That does require a game build update to do that. So. So yeah, we're basically, reverting some things and doing what Sev said technically. I don't really want to try to repeat it. That's part of the reason I brought him on, is just say, I don't know, what's that thing you're doing? So. We had a great teacher, TDO Geekfom says. 10 of us. There were 10 of us, okay. Anyway, I'm assuming there may be some screenshots and video of it out that you'll read on people's blogs. It was a really good time, though. I love doing it. I'd totally do it again next Tuesday, which may or may not happen. I don't know. We'll see. Can't promise I'll be on, but if I can, I'll try to make it. Otherwise, I was also on last night. I ran again through Grey Moon and CO6 on Thalanis. I'm working to level up my Gnome Wizard on Thalanis. First life character. I wanted to have a second kind of main on Thalanis because I really only have the one guy. And so I went and did that. Ran through that whole chain last night. Got it down to about an hour and a half. Gained about 3 ranks. I think I'm currently level 12. And lag wasn't bad, but that was just a short group on that adventure pack. Jerry plays most in Argo. Actually, I haven't played in Argo much lately at all. I have to be honest. I've really been focusing my time on Kyber, Wayfinder, Thalanis, Sarlona are probably the 4 servers I've spent the most personal playtime on lately. I do play on Argonism, though, occasionally, and I've got a couple of really good characters on Argo that I enjoy playing. But just lately I've been kind of branching out to other servers to get my needs done there. Various characters and builds and such they want to work on. I can also tell you that we are in the process of doing something kind of cool. So yesterday I grabbed a little bit of video footage of the Umber Hulk that, as you know, is going to be in Update 31. Or currently slated to be in Update 31. And so I grabbed a little bit of video. And so once we can get everyone signed off on that and, all the process work done, I'm hoping to get that out so you can see before Update 31 hits a little bit of the Umber Hulk in action. But it needs approvals. One of my current projects, though, on Argonussen is I've got a barbarian that I TR'd who's currently level 4, 5, 6, something like that. And that person I want to level up again. So that's what I'm currently working on in Argo. Plus, I could always cap out an artificer I have that I think is still level 28 or 29. Oh yeah, yeah. I would imagine the Umber Hulk will be in the Lamania preview, but my hope is that we can get this out to you even a little bit before that. But it kind of depends. No promises. Sorry. Mostly because it has to go to various people to approve, and they're contractually given X amount of time to do it because they have a lot of things coming and going. We'll see if it makes it, but I recorded it yesterday, so there we go. How much has the lag issues pushed back all of the Update 31 stuff? I've been asked that actually several times recently by folks, so clearly it's on your guys' mind. Not much. It has the lag investigation of that itself has not had a significant impact on the development process for Update 31. Because the people that are doing that work are largely different from the people who are doing the content creation work for Update 31. It has eaten a little bit into some people's time, so I can't say it has had no impact, but it hasn't been huge. So for the most part, Update 31, I believe, is still on track and looking good in both scope and content, without any major changes from what it was. There may have been things, for example, it's like, well, maybe we could get that in if we have time, that maybe have had to get shifted around a bit, but for the most part, it's been pretty minimal. Does Umber Hulk have a confusion equivalent ability so it's threatening in a similar way to PNP? That, as we've stated, has been one of the big hang-ups on getting the Umber Hulk out to the live servers, is dealing with the issue of the confusion. We've gone with a fairly I guess you could say fairly basic implementation of the confusion ability. You'll see in the video, hopefully, or on the Mani at the very least, they sort of have their eye attack. It's based on the staring at the four eyes of the Umber Hulk can cause you to become confused. And so there's a small sort of kind of particle effect that happens as their eyes flash. And then you'll get kind of like the dizzy effect, the confusion effect on you. But there's another little thing as well, which is that the Umber Hulk in many scenarios can also pose a threat to anyone around it, as in pen and paper. And so there are sections where they will actually kill some of the enemies, or attack the enemies while you're attacking them. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think you're going to dig it. Any new on the multiply time delay of update to Caneth crafting system? All I can really say on Caneth crafting is it's still being pushed out. No immediate word to say on Caneth crafting. As soon as there's something to say related to it, I'll let you know. I think we've explained already several times sort of the why of Kenneth crafting, but I can rehash that if you want me to. If you didn't hear it or whatever, but really it just comes down to wanting it to be in the right place when we debut it, and it just isn't there yet. How soon after Update 31 will we get our mini Umber Hulk pet? Would be rad.
Jerry, speaking about Kenneth crafting, I noticed that when you deconstruct a lot of items, the UI for it lags out and doesn't accept anything else.
You're saying basically the UI is laggy in the Kenneth crafting altar interface?
Yeah, not just that, but when you deconstruct a lot of items, it won't even accept any items at all. So you'll have to close the window and reopen it.
Alright. Yeah, can't say I'm too surprised.
Their luck has run out. The horns of fury and the maelstrom princes have slain hundreds of their kind. This should be the shortest fight we've ever seen. Let the slaughter begin.
Felicia stopped in just a little bit late and is just like, hey, we're working on the lag. Just to reiterate for those who didn't hear the information, yes, we are working on a patch, probably pretty soon after this live stream here. We're just giving QA just a little bit more time to do its checking before we formally give it a green light. But it looks like 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. tomorrow morning will be downtime to implement a patch that will fix some barbarian performance issues, stacking enhancements as they're called, where they basically bogs down the instance after a little while. And then we're also doing some technical things, which you can hear Sev talk about a little bit at the very start of the broadcast here. And I'll re-listen to that and paraphrase it and that as well. But we're doing some optimization work on the servers. So Columbus says, I have to close and open the window after every item as well on that list. You know, it's interesting. You're not the first person, clearly, who has that problem. I hear about it fairly periodically. I myself don't have that issue. I don't know what's different about my Artificer than the ones that are reporting this bug, but when I deconstruct items, I can deconstruct just my whole stack. Just one at a time, drop in, drop out. I have had a few instances over the years where where it's gotten kind of hitched up or whatever, and you just sort of close it and reopen it and it works. But consistently that bug of after every single time I have to close and reopen it is not my experience right now, today, in game. So there must be some subset of conditions that cause it to happen for some that it's not happening for others.
There remains one warrior with the strength and cruelty to avenge the fallen heroes of Parash Arena. I give you the king of killing the merciless.
Someone has a question about whether we're fixing the druid thing with single weapon fighting and two-handed fighting. Oh man, there's an oldie but goodie. No immediate plans, but it's definitely something that could happen in the future. But no immediate plans.
Your enemies lie scattered and broken at your feet. Now is your chance to seize the mighty axe.
Yes, Luke of the Loot is basically saying, hey, the lag sucks really bad right now. It's really difficult to do some of the raids, that kind of thing. Yes, we're aware. We're working on it. It is our number one priority. Who's got that key? Or Hathaway
It's
just gonna
still on
pick
the
it?
floor.
Are we going to bring back gear that increases the quivering palm DC on hand wraps, like make shatter work again for it? Rogues get a boost to assassinate. I haven't heard of any plans to do that. Sorry. It does seem like a valid suggestion, however, so we can pass it along should we consider it. Oh yes, someone mentioned party favors. I want to make sure that I get the word out on this. So this is your final weekend. The time has come to make a decision. If you have not yet decided what you're going to do for your 10th anniversary item, do it now. Pick your stuff. This is your final weekend for it. After, I think, Monday morning, we're announcing through Sunday is when the 10th anniversary event and vendor NPC will be available. I think in reality, we're probably looking at Monday morning, Eastern time. But this is your weekend. So, if you do not have your 10th anniversary tokens turned in on all the characters that want stuff, want to do that by really Sunday night. And if you are looking to get any party favors, this is your final weekend to turn that stuff in. When this shuts off, the 10th anniversary vendor will be gone. The 10th anniversary challenge event will be gone. The 10th anniversary challenge event vendor will be gone. And we have no current plans to bring them back. So can I get rid of my stuff? That question is the bane of my existence. My answer is never ever throw away anything ever if you're going to be upset should some future development team decide to do something with it that the current development team has no plans for. But we have no plans for it. So, make your decision wisely. I've been burned on this before, where we had no plans to do a thing, and then eventually we did a thing. So I will never tell you to, yes, delete everything. You can get rid of it. But you can get rid of it if you want to. But then if you get rid of it and it comes back in the future and you're like, you said I could get rid of it, then don't get rid of it. Hang on to it forever. Yeah. Yes, so unlike the 5th and 6th year items that summon the genie that will do the dance thing, there's nothing like that with this current item. I mean, you're welcome to keep it just for kind of historical curiosity's sake and what have you, but there are no sort of future uses of that stuff. So anyway, there's my public service announcement. And I actually have some work to do. How are you doing on it? I myself, I mean, I took care of, let's see, Argo and Caneth and Galanda and Kyber and largely Thelanis, so that means I still have Sarlona and Wayfinder. Although I can't remember if I did Wayfinder. Orion. To double check to make sure I've got all the characters I'm gonna play. I'll have their items. In terms of the actual turn-ins, about the only thing I have left is, I believe, a little bit on Wayfinder. I have some things to turn in. I don't think I have enough to get, like, say, a big item, so I'm probably just going to turn it in for some cookies and that. And I'm going to need to do that this weekend as well.
The last of the arcane oozes dissolves into a bubbling.
I can't remember if I have Featherfall on or not. Nope, looks like I don't. Looks like I'm featherfallless, so I'm just going to take the careful route down. So someone says, I am having a strange experience and a small problem where the earth elementals are simply falling down without me doing anything. Or no, double check. Make sure that you don't have, say, an ability that has a percentage proc on knockdown. That would be my first suggestion. Is that perhaps you've got some kind of, successful attack is 20% knockdown. I can't remember, is that in the Swashbuckler maybe? Can't remember off the top of my head now. But there must be something that's like
Yeah, you're
stunning them or
stunned.
knocking them down or something. I agree. We can never have too much shareable bank storage. Is 130 enough? No. Is 230 enough? No. Is 2030 enough? Maybe? Probably. Just being realistic here.
No problem. Hey Jerry, I have a guild question. Why is the limit to guild size only 1,000?
That's a good question. My guess is it has to do with really the technology of the time, wanting to sort of limit data bloat. But I suspect, certainly in today's environment, that probably doesn't need to be a thing.
Well, I was just wondering because I'm a guild leader on Saralana, so it's like, what is that and what is it? So it was just a question I had that I couldn't remember the answer to.
Yeah, I don't have a real good answer for you, other than I suspect it just has to deal with maybe keeping the data size under a certain limit.
Makes sense. I just wish there was a way to combine guild chats.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect nowadays it doesn't really technically have to be there. It's just kind of a remnant.
Yeah, as long as there's less lag, I could care less.
I know that the recent lag does have some weird sort of byproduct effects as well, and that may be some of what you're seeing there, Luke of the Loot.
A beholder roars, hungry for slaughter.
Let's see. Oh, quick shout out to Samus Garobo. That would be twitch.tv/Samus Garobo on Sunday from about 10 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. Central Time, so 11 to 11ish Eastern. He's going to be doing a 12-hour live stream on Sunday. It's not going to all be DDO, but at least a lot of it, most of it, and the first part of it, first half of it or whatever, is going to be DDO. So I'm going to try to join him for a few, maybe an hour or two, if I can. And that'll be happening on Sunday. And then he's going to have some other people like Grimord, I think it's going to join him. Grim and Rach, and Tobrill's going to be there, and some things like that. He's really just kind of celebrating, I think it's like 200 followers on his channel. And so that's cool. We ourselves have got a couple of shows, happening this weekend as well. I'll be back Fridays at 5. DDO As She Is Played starts at 4 o'clock today. Oh, jeez. Ouch. Brighter Days Ahead tonight is Thursday night. Yeah, we got our full schedule on Twitch as well. But I wanted to call out that 12-hour live stream because I know that's something that he's been putting in some work on. So hopefully you'll check that out if you want. I suspect the language may be a little rawer than you would hear on DDO stream, just to be warned. Oh, weekend bonus is... Oh, actually, we have a good one. Weekend bonus is a party bonus, a buddy bonus. 10%. So, 10% XP for every member in your party other than yourself. Up to a total of 50%. This is parties, not raid groups. And kicks off Thursday late morning. Again, shut off along with all the other events. First thing Monday morning when people get into the office. Yeah, that XP weekend was pretty hot last week, and I took advantage of it myself. Do hirelings count? Yeah, I think they do. Alright. So yeah, that's the bonus this weekend. No problem, Hathaway. Understood. We're just gonna have to time it. Like that. I timed it. Not right, but I timed it. Oh, Shadow Crypt. Heroic Elite with a bonus weekend running a 50% pot with Tome. Oh, you're not wrong. That sounds like a good XP time. Missed it by that much. Right. You know, I actually last night, like I said, I ran Grey Moon CO6 on a level like 11 and 12. Just leveled up during the process. Um, Character last night, and even though some of those quests are awful low on the level scale, so you get like a 50% XP penalty to it, you're still, when all is said and done, getting so much. If you run it all on Elite, it's easy, you can tear through it. With all the first time bonuses and such, Grey Moon CO6 can be a real nice chain. If you are with people who know it, you can get both done in, let's say, an hour 15 minutes, and get a lot of XP for that time spent. But yes, Shadow Crypt Heroic Elite would also be an excellent option. If you're a lower level, can't go wrong with Tangle Root.
The fearsome giant was laid low.
These Fawns are also quite nice. Spies in the House is a great XP getter.
Pets won't be causing you.
Giant Hold and Epic Elite's another good place.
Ooh, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, on the Epic side, absolutely. Just run those giant old quests, walk-ups and all on Elite. It's a bonanza.
So isn't, if I remember right, Crucible's like 100k for a first time bonus, and then after that I think it's like 70 or 80.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Did someone get the thing?
Yeah, looks like we got it.
Pit is good, provided that you are a pit expert. You know, if you know how to run, like, I remember a good friend of mine could run the pit in 10 minutes or less. And if that's you, then yeah, pit's an excellent choice. Oh, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I should probably make a pit teaching video, but no one really knows how to run it.
Yeah, that'd be, I mean, there have been a couple over the years, but a nice modern one would be good.
Yeah, I'll get on that.
I actually am
All
being
that
generous
jazz.
on the 10 minutes. He has claimed 7.5 minutes. I didn't personally witness that, though, but I did personally witness a 10-minute run. RD2Play has a great beginner sort of tip on the pit that I'm going to reference here. Pit is pretty easy if you know how it works. Just keep left, looking for the yellow gem. As a last-ditch effort to try to figure out how to do the pit, that is a method. If you're like me and you're like, and then I gotta do the what? I can't read. Yeah, it'll get the job done. Not gonna be maxing out that XP though.
Thank you.
Well, see, that's the old
A
method
little
to.
tip from someone that runs the pit just for the giggles of it. If you go up that one path to the security room and you stay on that pathway, you can actually get around the whole pit. Don't need a diverge or anything.
Nice. Still, if you can do the pit, you can do spies on the house. Spies on the house might be better.
Yeah, that too. Oh, that was quick.
Any chance of putting the violet cube in there? I can't remember where the violet cube originates. Is that the one that's in the raid, right? I don't think we're going to be putting that into the DDO store. If it's a raid-only cosmetic or creature companion, it's probably going to stay there. I agree, MRF. Just stand there waiting while everyone else does the work for you on the pit. Yeah. The management approach. You know, I'm here to help. I'm overseeing the project, making sure it works. Yeah, caught in the web, you're right. That's where the purple cube comes from. And no plans to add that to the DDO store. There are certain, if it's as a reward for a thing, like a raid reward, we probably aren't going to be trying to sell that as well. Supervising. That's pretty funny.
The stone bridge ahead has collapsed into a gulch.
If I can do Von 3 in 10 minutes, I'll be impressed. Yeah, it's going to take a little longer than that. But I figured I'd run it anyway.
As you emerge from the gulch, Polish war drums begin to
Let's see how quick we can do the Vons, huh?
you have been spotted by a lookout.
Yep, see you there in a minute.
Sorry, I'm probably making you guys a little dizzy there.
Hey Jerry, do you know about the bug at Stay at the Inn in the High Roads chain? Where
Maybe.
the boss will bug out?
The Blackheart trolls have made their
And
home
stay at the
That
end?
in these ruined walls.
I
They seem eager
I believe that's what it's called. It's when the shadow showed up. Anyway, I was in a group on EE the other day during a saga, and we figured out that when you use an AoE healing spell or effect, it actually bugs him out in there.
Alright.
So when he switches, you might want to turn him to non-active NPC, like, say, Anna is. So
Right.
that way he can't be healed.
Yeah, it sounds like a script error.
That's what it seems like to me. I told the GM about it, too.
Someone wants to see the ability to manipulate ender wards with like a skill set. It's interesting, interesting idea. Bribe the authorities to look the other way. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Could end up in jail. I don't know how people would feel if there was a way to sort of sacrifice. Because, I mean, the thing is, like, okay, so let's say, for example, in a classic sense, diplomacy affected your end reward. And if you had a really high diplomacy, you could do a diplomacy check to get slightly better loot. Similar to what we have in some ways with a Dragon Mark. Or a guild airship eliminate. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think... I'm not sure people would... Seems a little meta.
Oh, along that idea, people will complain, but they get used to it like they do everything else around here.
That's true. That's true. I mean, the thing is, like, okay, so you'd be essentially encouraging you to make your character weaker in some ways in order to get better loot, because that's something that you could have spent points to have more of an in-game impact on. So I wonder to some extent how... I mean, although that already exists as a specialized feat, but having such a common benefit for a significant benefit might tend to make it a little bit too, quote, necessary.
Yeah. Plus, people were complaining about warlocks being OP, and they still are to an extent, but people know how to build them. That's why they're OP. But they're used to them now. But when they first came out, no one would run with them.
True.
A majestic being of metal and magic glares at you from the top. Inevitable as a Maru. Destroy those who keep justice.
don't know. So I was playing a game a while back that had this unusual mechanic where you could actually fight and kill the NPC vendors in the game. And it got me thinking a little bit about DDO to the extent that what if, for example, you were able to sacrifice an NPC? So, for example, you get. I was thinking about this because of Draculetta from DDO Players News, who ran Demon Assault or whatever it was many times to get that dynamistic quiver. What if you were able to, for example, take a pick of one item from that loot list by killing the NPC vendor, and then you could never run that quest again on that character? How many people do you think would actually do it? Why did dice get removed from the Phoenix Tavern? Because it was causing a performance issue. And since the actual impact of it was kind of minor, it's this old thing that people didn't really do much anymore anyway.
Yeah, I might, but
Get rid of
only
it.
on rare occasions.
Do I know, Tokaru87 says, any idea if there are plans to make it possible to run centered with a repeater in the Kensai revamp? I do not know of any plans to allow you to run centered with a repeater in the Kensai revamp. I've not heard of such a plan.
You never know. Stumble across a stone bridge ahead. Devil drow flee ahead of it in terror. You have caught up with the inevitable. It stares coldly at you, not calculating the threat you pose to its mission.
Oh, I'm stuck outside the quest.
How'd that happen?
I wasn't in when you guys completed, so I had to rerun the intro.
Maybe you could rerun the intro on, like, normal or something just to get in here with us.
That's what I tried. This tune ain't like my main build, in that it doesn't have the past lives.
No problem. I completely understand.
They say casters are OP, well, only when we got the past lives to back it up.
Yeah, I too missed that shell game in Phoenix Tavern. It was kind of cool. Yeah. General question for the rogues in our midst, Carpin G says. I am running my first and now have the assassinate enhancement, yet I'm getting you can't do this errors when I try to use it, due to stance, weapon, etc. prerequisites not being met. The description of the enhancement seems to be lacking some of the rules for assassinating. What do I need to know here? I mean, there are certain weapon restrictions and things like that, but I'm pretty sure that's listed in the information.
To answer his question, he needs to be sneaky and needs to have one-handed weapons.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, what's probably happening, and this was something that took me a little practice, is I would be getting the aggro and getting hit by the mobs, and that would take me out of stealth. And until I learned how to properly sort of do that, I found myself in that position a little bit.
Yep, it happens a lot. You have too much aggro because of the sneak attack. Also, apparently there's an item effect that's supposed to bluff an opponent, but instead it actually aggroes onto you instead.
You stand amidst a scene
I
What
forget
was
the name of it.
Yeah?
of the inevitable.
Wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, I think it's deception or something. It's some item effect that procs.
Yeah, the way I've found is just don't be the first one to run up, don't be the first one to hit. That's the first. I mean, I know you probably already know all this stuff, so maybe I'm just repeating this to the audience who hasn't played a rogue much. But, let the fighter go up, take a couple whacks at it, follow up behind so that you can get all that sneak attack bonus, or your assassinate. Make sure your hide moves silence very good. Make sure you're in sneak mode. Make sure you're not trying to wield a two-handed weapon. Oof. Ouch. Looks like it was the flame strike. 75 points of damage. Enough to take me out.
So here's a question for you, Jerry. Is there any plans to add any more level 9 spells?
We don't have any immediate plans to add new spells to the game. It's something we pretty much always love to do, but it's just a matter of devoting the development time to it, and we just don't have that on our plate right now.
I see. It's just that I don't use a lot of the level 9 spells because they're of, like, no use to most of my builds.
Luke of the Loot mentions regarding the rogue talk. The only bad thing is after a couple of hits, you have the aggro.
Force spell. Because my wizard can't affect the abbot at all because of that spell that he has on him.
Yep. Immunity to level 4 and under spells.
Yep. Which is why I wish there was like a level 8 or so force spell.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? I really want an AoE light damage spell for my clerics and favored souls.
It's called Sunburst.
Yeah. Okay, then a better AoE light spell.
Right? I can't doubt you on that one, dude.
What level is, force missiles or chain missiles?
It force missile is 4, chain missiles is 3.
Okay.
That's why I said we need a higher level force spell.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly a valid suggestion. The Force Blast from Archmage is quite useful if you put the works into it, I bet.
The Marut stalks down the hall to your right.
So here's an idea for a new force spell name. Force Blast.
Yeah, there you go.
The lofty gate ahead marks the outer boundaries of the Drow encampment.
Yeah, that's true. Tokaru is saying Meteor Swarm, and now that I'm thinking about it, what about like Tactical Detonation, if you're an Artificer or whatever? That should all work, right?
Right, but for like people who are like untyped based, it doesn't really have much of an impact on us.
Sure.
So most of my spells are force or untyped or disintegrate, stuff like that.
You have entered a new section of the cave. In the distance,
Disintegrate, though, right?
Right, but I don't use it enough to make it valid. Plus it costs so much SP to begin with when you start adding all the enhancements and all that jazz.
Right.
Plus when you're hitting a 16k ruin at level 28 crit on an Archmage, you're pretty much almost guaranteed to hit 30k on the greater ruin at 30.
That's not a small amount of damage.
Hey, I'm spec for force damage on my main. What can I say?
Yeah.
But that's with under 500 spell power to untyped and force damage. So if I were to get that above 550, I'm looking at somewhere on the area of 18 to 20k on a normal ruin to 40k on a greater.
Nice. Very nice. My favorite Soul Rogue's been doing really nice light damage. I've been topping 1,000 plus on crits for both Searing Light and Divine Punishment, and it just made me wish that I could have a nice like AoE style. I mean, I guess Sunburst, right? But like I say, I just haven't really used Sunburst very well, I guess.
Sunburst isn't really a good spell to begin with, but it works if in a pinch, in my opinion. Plus, you have to kind of really spec for Sunburst anyway.
True. Bards need a Sonic Dot. Sounds like a thing.
Yeah, Luke, Luck of the Loot has a nice idea. Bards need a Sonic Dot or beat to combine with all the songs.
Yeah, I agree. That would be nice.
Would make them a lot more valid as a caster class because they're part casters.
Intelligence.
Sadly, I'm not in there. I don't know, otherwise I'd help you.
We do have Pricta here, too.
So, Jerry, I have a thought idea for you. Imagine Vela on EE as a champion, how hard that fight would be with all the lag that's been going on.
Yeah.
Let alone any of the current endgame raids. That would be fun.
Pricta is coming down. And like I say, I was in Mark of Death, and we had some problems with, like, sort of the tiles.
I have only completed it once, and that was on LAM. And for me, it's like, okay, the items are good, but they're not like for what I'm set up for.
It's a very enjoyable raid, I'll say that.
Yeah, it's technical too, which is a good thing.
So my intelligence is too low to use these runes. Someone who can use them needs to.
Isn't the check for those like 8 or something?
Well, my intelligence is 8, so I'm gonna say it's got to be at least higher than 8 on Elite.
Yeah, it's gotta probably be like a 10 or a 12 then.
Alright, we're done.
Grow more sparse as you emerge from the beholder's domain.
Right on.
Ahead, torrents of water plunge into a pool far below.
So, someone showed me the other day here that the trick to this that people don't often remember, they try to jump, but all you need to do is just walk right off the edge here and you'll end up on the platform. You don't want to overwalk, but you just need to walk.
Yep, there's that, and then you can also jump over if you have the eye-hand coordination.
Yep.
Water into the air nearby.
But a lot of it just has to do with your connection. But the safest bet is just to walk off.
hmm You do need Featherfall, yeah. Or if not needed, at least mostly need it. As well as it's possible without, but probably not too easy. As I just showed.
Kind of funny that speaking about that Featherfall thing, I usually do not use Featherfall on any of my tunes.
You know, I kind of go back and forth. I don't worry about it too much, but once I get something, I tend to really appreciate it. Because, like, when I don't have it, I run into things like today, where you just sort of struggle a little bit.
Yeah,
Low jump, no feather fall.
that low jump's the worst. Because if you can't get up that ledge in Tempest Spine, you got a problem. Because if you can't get out of the way of those fire reavers / fire elementals, you're screwed.
But for example, like my swashbuckler pretty much just doesn't have feather fall because I don't need it, because I'm not really taking any damage because of tumble and everything, and you know I've got a nice high jump and speed and that, and then I just tend to only have it if it's already on something I was going to wear anyway.
Yep, look at monks and that they get that auto feather fall if they're level 20. And then if you're like a wizard or a sorc, you've got that spell in your spell book pretty much. But then you look at like the cannon boots of propulsion, you can slap those on. You got 30 striding and feather fall on that thing. Yeah, and then you have the feather fall course. You got that right, May. You get that from Corsos on the
Yeah,
Canada's Aqueduct.
I've been known to just kind of keep that around till maybe even the mid-teens, just in case I need it. But then I usually get rid of it just because I run out of space.
Yeah, I slap it in the bank, and if I go into a place that needs it, I pull it out. But otherwise, I just sell the extras. I keep 2 of them just in case.
Yes, I mean, I do make a good statue. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be wrapping up the stream here as soon as we're done, but I wanted to finish up this Vaughn 3 run before I did that. I was healed by arrest for 136 spell points. Yeah, I imagine I'm largely just going to try to heal the group during this upcoming fight, because I don't have any adamantine items. And I just don't really think I've got much that's going to do much anything.
Do you have Earthquake yet?
No.
Hmm. I can't remember what those druids have. I haven't been on my druid in over a year that I've actually played it.
But I can heal folks, so I'll just do that.
Did you guys ever find out what was causing people to crash when they brought open the store?
We have got an issue with Windows XP that is being fixed in Update 31. So very old, sort of out-of-date operating systems are not working very well with, with the store.
Well, that explains a lot.
But it really only, I mean, obviously if you're affected it sucks, but it's really an XP issue. So one option would be to perhaps consider an upgrade of your operating system.
Sadly, that's the only option for some games.
Understood.
But I always keep an XP around just so that way if I want to play my old games, and then I have an option too. Because Windows 10 does not like old games at all.
True. But it is an issue that we are fixing for Update 31. It took a little work to identify and resolve that issue, but we have, I think, pending testing. Yay!
Avoid the implacable Marin and save the vampires from her doom. Vale shouts in triumph.
They need to put a red shrine at the end of that.
Yeah. All right, I am going to have to call it a show. Thanks very much for joining me. I'll log in on Caneth here a little bit later on this afternoon and kick you guys a Turbine Point code in the in-game mail. Thanks for joining me. And thank you for joining me in chat as well. We had a nice, productive chat room this week. I really appreciate you joining me for the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream here on twitch.tv/DDOstream and youtube.com/DungeonsandDragons/live. Archives go up on YouTube and Twitch a little bit later on in the day. And it's going to do it. Thanks very much. We'll see you again soon. On YouTube and Twitch a little bit later.